So, as Stacy mentioned, there are 4 types of outsourcing, and one of the most commonly used by businesses is professional outsourcing. This includes many back office processes like accounting, financial, human resources, and data entry. I will talk specifically about call centers. Call center outsourcing, by definition, is the practice of seeking or subcontracting outside of an organizational structure for all or part of a call center function. Companies choose to use this type of outsourcing for many different services, such as inbound customer service or outbound sales calls, customer relations, tech support or help desk, marketing or bill collection. There are both advantages and disadvantages to outsourcing call center jobs. I will first talk about the disadvantages. In recent years, there have been much negativity about overseas outsourcing, but it is not a new phenomenon. Call center outsourcing began in the early 90s. However, with the increased use of overseas call centers in the outsourcing industry, the disadvantages become more apparent, mostly due to language and cultural barriers. I'm sure that everyone here has been in this type of situation before. You're on the phone trying to convey a technical problem, and it seems like the person on the other end has no idea what you're talking about. This can be especially frustrating when the person on the other line does not speak the same language as you. Technical terminology may be misinterpreted, but on a side note, this is becoming less of a problem when calling the Philippines because their culture is most similar to America and they are trained to speak English fluently. But it can still be difficult to explain over the phone a technical issue with equipment, or per se if the person who you are talking to has never used that particular equipment before. Employees at call centers are usually the first line of defense and go off a script when solving issues. They tend to be used as call screeners for upper-level support and may not fully understand the customer needs. Another disadvantage is that outsourcing can pose issues in confidentiality that can be a huge problem among consumers and businesses who utilize outsourcing. This includes identity theft. The more hands information is passed through, the greater the risk of personal and data integrity compromise. With different laws in foreign countries, this can be difficult to track and investigate. Furthermore, probably one of the biggest disadvantages to outsourcing, especially with overseas outsourcing, is the elimination of jobs in the U.S. In order to streamline business operations, many companies eliminate jobs by laying off workers in favor of outsourcing to call centers domestically and overseas. With the high unemployment rate our country faces currently, this issue has been a topic of concern among many Americans. It is the perception that Americans are losing their jobs to foreign workers, but this is not always the case. In fact, the United States still leads the industry in percent of call center jobs, with only about 13% of jobs going overseas. With that said, India and the Philippines do make up a large portion of foreign call center jobs. When companies outsource to foreign countries, it can cause bad publicity and lower the morale and confidence of the American worker. Also, from an economic standpoint, when jobs are moved overseas, it results in loss of capital and returns to our government. Less workers in our own country means less capital returns to our government. When a company chooses to outsource, there are always certain risks involved. So, why do companies choose to outsource? Ultimately, one of the main goals of any company is high profit margins, so call center outsourcing offers many advantages that are appealing to businesses, including lowering costs. The cost of labor can be significantly lowered, especially when outsourcing to foreign countries, because the workers demand lower wages. The average yearly wage for an employee in India is about $2,500 US dollars compared to 27,000 US dollars per year for American call center workers. Also, the companies do not have to offer any fringe benefits such as health insurance or 401k plans to the outsourced workers, nor is there any extra money spent on office space, equipment, software, or training, since these are things that would be provided by the company hired to perform the outsourced functions. Another advantage to call center outsourcing is that businesses will run with better efficiency. Oftentimes, back office functions of a company consume too many resources that take away from more important aspects of that business, be it sales or services. Call centers can be available 24/7 to focus on more clients for a longer period of time, and that enhances the customer experience and product satisfaction, which in turn will generate more revenue for the business and strengthen the U.S. economy. So, with that said, I will turn it over to our next presenter.